Well, hello there, all you mildly interesting people, and welcome back to another episode of Mr. Pseudonym. Although it's not really an episode, this isn't a series, but you know what, whatever, it helps immersion, so whatever. So, here we have, Joey, old guy, and he's like, yeah, so I've been looking on my Nokia recently, and I see my grandson has put out some new tweets on the Facebook about Among Us, and, you know, he's really into it, and I think it's some kind of weird new fad, so what is it? So, I would be glad to answer your question, Joey. Among Us, the exclamation points are necessary, is the hot new trend that's been taking the world by storm. No, I can't describe it like that. But basically, to give a little background, Joey, you've probably heard of such games as Mafia and Werewolf, and even Mafia Werewolf. You probably haven't, I just made that one up. But, yeah, Among Us is kind of similar to those games, where basically you've got your Mafia people, just, pretend that I can draw, so you got your Mafia people, or your werewolves, and basically you've got to try and figure out who it is. Now, Among Us is actually pretty similar to that, Joey, so I don't blame you for asking. I do blame you for not being informed on the trends of the youth, though. So, just to explain, Among Us is similar to these games, except it's online, and that makes it automatically cool and awesome and really amazing, because strangers on the internet are the perfect people to accuse of murder and possibly arson too. Yeah, and let's get to the actual game and why you'll be accusing these people of crimes. Alright, so to explain Among Us, if you've never heard of it before, this might seem kind of off topic, but this is actually part of the game. So let's say that we've got 5 color-coded astronauts. We've got black, we've got green, we've got red, who will just spin around a couple of times for good measure, and we've got blue, and we've got Joey. Now, these 5 people are all on a spaceship together, so give me a sec. Yep, so they're all on a spaceship together, and they are all happy friends who are just doing their assigned jobs around the spaceship. Like, for example, there are different tasks all around the spaceship. For example, let me just draw a quick map here. So let's say, this is a simplified version, by the way. Maps are actually a lot different here. So let's say that these lines are hallways and the rectangles are rooms. So, you know, let's say that Joey here wants to do a task. First thing he's going to want to do is, say he starts in this room, he's going to want to go down the hallway, go into the room where the task is, and do it. And to do the tasks, you basically have to do a variety of things, including swiping a card, connecting wires, so, like that, and even more stuff. So, yeah, you basically just do tasks, and that's the entire game, you know. I really love this game. I get to do the things I would do in real life anyway. Except there's a twist. As you do tasks, one person is not who they seem. One person is actually a murderous alien, robot, secret agent, spy, whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever your choice, one of them is actually an imposter, which is the game's actual wording for it, and the imposter's job is to pretend to be one of the crew, but then, when they're isolated, and there's nobody around to see them, they strike. And as we can see here in this extremely graphic illustration, Black is dead. So, and everyone's like, "Oh no, what's happened?" And pretend Green just hides his knife here. Obviously, you have a blood-stained knife, and you're like, "No, I'm not the murderer." That doesn't help your story much. But then, basically, everyone's just going about doing their tasks, including Green, who pretends to do tasks. And then Blue suddenly goes down this hallway and into this room, and then finds this, and he's like, dudes, there's someone that's not who they seem on the spaceship. Someone is a liar. And, yeah, we've got Blue, and he, basically runs away, we don't see this, and he presses a big red button, which I will actually draw now. Yep. So he goes, and he smashes that subscribe button, by the way, subscribe, and, everyone shows up, and they're like, "Yo, Blue, what the heck's going on? Is it pizza night tonight?" And, Blue's like, "No, there's a murderer in our midst." And, like, Black is dead. I found him dead. Who could it be? And Red's like, "I don't know, Blue. You're the one who brought up this story. Maybe it's like a ruse. Maybe you killed Black and you're trying to avert suspicion." And then Joey's like, "Huh, Red, that's kinda sus being short for suspicious in this case. And you're the real murderer." And Green's like, "Totally wasn't me. And Blue's like, "Huh? Well, Joey, you're the only one of us that just found out about this game. So how did you learn to play so well, so quickly?" Guys, it's definitely Joey. And Red's like, "Oh yeah, I can get behind that." And Green's like, "Whew, it wasn't me." "Yeah, Joey, get him." And basically what happens next is Joey gets thrown out of the spacecraft. So, and then, depending on the game mode, sometimes we find out whether Joey was actually an imposter killing everyone or not, or other times it just says he was ejected, so we don't know if he was actually the murderer. So then, there's 3 crewmates remaining. And Green goes to search for his next victim. Now, in Among Us, there are these things called vents, and you probably know what vents are. And, basically, the way that vents work is that, they transform you into Bruce Willis. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, the way vents work is that one vent connects to another vent. So, basically, you've got these 2 vents, and the imposter, and mind you, only the imposter, can hop into one vent, get out of the other vent, stab someone, hop in, hop out, and the crime is done. No detection. And, so that's just some context for this next scene, where Red and Blue go do their tasks, but now in constant fear of the evil, murderous demon, who they know is one of them. They just don't know who. Because they know that if it was actually Joey like they thought, the game would have ended. So then we see Blue, he's like, "Dun dun dun, just minding my own business," when Green sneaks into Red's thing and stabs him, and then he escapes into the vent. So Red's dead, and Blue wants redemption. See what I did there? And Blue's like, I don't know, I'm done with my task. I better just leave this room in a sec. When all of a sudden, Green hops in the vent. He hops out thinking he'll be undetected. And then Blue's like, "Seriously? You literally just vented in front of you, you nerd." And then Blue runs away and finds Red's body, and he hits that button again with all of his power, and then he summons the meeting, and he's like, "Green, you literally just vented in front of me, and I found Red's dead body, and I literally didn't do it. I'm voting for you." This is not representative of a real game, by the way. Obviously, Green would vote for Blue, it would be a tie, whatever. But let's just pretend for now that Green gets kicked out of the spaceship and sees Joey's cold, dead corpse that he helped to create, and, he spirals out into the vacuum of space, ready to atone for what he has done. And then Blue's like, "I win, do. Now, there is another scenario, another timeline, if you will, where I'm just going to rewind back through all the action here, and until we, yep. So we're back. We're back right at the beginning when everything didn't happen yet. But this time, the imposter isn't green. You see, sometimes an imposter will be so wildly successful that they actually win. So, we've got green, we've got blue, we got red, and black, and Joey. Joey's in the hallway, he's just walking along. He walks into the room with Red, and Red's like, hey, I'm just doing my task. And Joey's like, yeah, I'm doing my task too. And then he leaves. And so Red's like, oh yeah, Joey seems legit. And then he goes into Blue's room, and Blue's like, hey, Joey, how are you? And Joey's like, die, scum! And then we know what happens next. Joey brains Blue with his Nokia phone, and Blue's like, eh. And, Joey walks away. He goes to green, and he goes to black, and he's like, hey, dudes, I'm just doing my task. Anyway, I'll go back into that room which Blue was in and check on him. And then he goes back into the room with Blue, and then he's like, dude, look, I just found Blue's body. Oh my god, this is so crazy. Who could it be? And then, like, green, black, and red are all here, and then they're like, oh, how many, I bet that, it couldn't have been Joey, because we all saw him, right? Yeah, I bet it was Red. When Joey left to go do another task, Red was like, no, you're stupid, Blue, you stole my tax returns, die. And then, and then Red's like, wait, what? How could you accuse me like this? I thought I was your friend. And then, green and black are like, get yeeted. And then Red flies into the cold, dead heart of space. And now everyone remaining's like, oh, geez, we better be watchful. Any one of us could be the imposter. And then Black goes to do his task, and, Joey pretends to do his task, and Green does his task. And then Joey's like, hey, Black, do. And he's like, I'm gonna go check on Green. And then he stabs Green, and then he's like, yeah, die, nerd, you work for the IRS. Yep. And Green's dead, and then he goes back to Black, and he's like, oh yeah, I just went ahead and went back and did another task in this conveniently unoccupied third room. And then Black's like, alright, seems legit. And then Joey's like, alright, I'm just gonna finish doing my stuff. I'm gonna go talk to Green, and then now I'm gonna go right back, and, there's a countdown in between kills, so you can't kill, like, 7 people in one go. So, like, we've got Black, he's dead, and then Joey's like, I am the winner! Yep, and that appears to be a regular game of Among Us. Of course, there's one more thing I failed to mention. Sometimes imposters can sabotage tasks. So, like, pretend that this red box right here is a nuclear reactor, and then Joey's like, I toss my Nokia phone into this, and then obviously the nuclear reactor is about to implode, and nothing happens to the Nokia phone, because it's a Nokia phone. And then everyone's like, oh no, what could have happened? No. Yeah, let's fix it, yeah. And then Red's like, oh yeah, sure, I'm fine. I mean, they're fixing it, right? I'll just keep working on. And, then Red dies, and he's like, oh no. And, the final thing I forgot to mention is that when you die in this game, you come back as a ghost. So just, whoops. Yeah, so just, let's say that, he becomes a ghost. So, like, whoops, I keep deleting him on accident. But, yeah, he is now a ghost. Yeah, and, he's basically able to see everything and everyone and haunt all the other players, and he's like, it's Joey, I'm telling you. And then Blue's like, Was that the wind? Oh, yeah, it must have been. Anyway, let's work on stabilizing this reactor. And you fools, he literally just sabotaged this reactor to kill me. And you're all dumb nerds. And then they're like, yeah, definitely the wind. It's a little chilly in here. Maybe we should turn off the air conditioning. And then he's like, no, you better listen to me or else. And then Blue's like, oh yeah, Red's calling me on Discord. I can't answer right now. Doesn't he know that we're playing Among Us? And then Red's like, yeah, I'm literally in the game with you. Why don't you pick up? And then Blue's like, oh yeah. And he knows that just telling us the identity is cheating, right? And Red's like, oh, well, that makes sense. And he's like, you're stupid. You're a stupid imposter. You're a nerd. Boo. Yep. And that basically summarizes all of Among Us, which it's a pretty great game, by the way, but it costs $5 on PC, so yeah. But I might be able to play it on the channel sometime. Just comment if you want to see me play it. It's a pretty great game, and I can get some friends like Lyrical Carpenter and Puff Pastry and everyone to play it, so just remember to comment if you want to see me do it. And as always, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and see you next time, in the words of Joey.